So in the video I did the other day about Tyson Fury and Ben Davison going their separate ways, I said in that video that I suspected that there was, a third party which was getting involved in the split between Ben Davison and Tyson Fury. And obviously the third party I'm referring to is the father of Tyson Fury, John Fury. Now, I've seen some people come out and already point the finger at John Fury and say he's the reason why Tyson Fury is no longer being trained by Ben Davison. Now, obviously, I don't think, well, certainly now at this minute in time, we're probably not going to get a legit reason, or probably not going to get an exact reason as to why Tyson Fury and Ben Davison went their separate ways. I said in that video that I suspect it could be, location-wise, but then having said that, the money that Davison is going to get from working with Fury would probably trump what he's getting with some of the fighters, maybe he's training in the UK. So there was that. But I think that post-Otto Wallin fight, we obviously had John Fury come out and say that Tyson couldn't even beat Povetkin and that he needed to fire Ben Davison. Okay, now, I done videos on that, as too did a lot of other people, and we kind of suspected that, that's John Fury being overreactive of, a less than stellar performance from Tyson Fury, and he was just looking for someone to blame. But John Fury, we know, he is... To say John Fury is a fiery character would be an understatement. John Fury is today's version of Norman Stone. If you may remember John Ruiz's coach back in the day, Norman Stoney, he was very similar to John Fury. He had a serious anger issue, and he was ejected from ringside more than once, working the corner for John Ruiz. So I think John Fury is he's similar personality, very fiery personality, and we've seen it, before with John Fury when he tried to go for Deontay Wilder, and best believe that he was really, when he tried to go for Wilder back in Belfast last year, he was serious about that. John Fury is, he's out there enough that he would try and fight someone who is, obviously going to take him off the ground with a dig, but John Fury is kind of out there, and I think that having John Fury in the Tyson Fury camp can only hinder Tyson. Because when you look at Tyson Fury, good fighter, good boxer, good style, moves well for a heavyweight, but he can be a bit out there. He can have too much fun in the ring sometimes. He can maybe fool around a bit too much. And I think with Tyson, you need someone to bring that back. That was where Peter was so good. And you've seen that when he was with Peter Fury, whenever John would try and, intervene or, try and come between things or maybe try and interject, you would see Tyson say, no, I'm listening to Peter, almost F off that. Whereas with Ben Davison, you really do get the impression that, Tyson, although I'm sure he respects Ben Davison, I'm sure he takes what Ben Davison's saying, you don't get the impression that maybe Ben Davison can reel Tyson in the way Peter did. And does he have the same influence that Peter did? And what I mean by that is that if Peter says to Tyson, no fooling around, do this, you get the impression that Tyson would do it. Whereas with Ben, do I think he'd do it? Probably not. He'd probably still do it. And with Peter and Tyson, John, his influence wasn't necessarily there as much. But whereas with Ben Davison, you get the impression that John's influence is there a lot more. So to me, it could be likely that John Fury maybe has, taken a step too far and, maybe got into Tyson Fury's ear and said, you know what, we don't need this Ben Davison guy, we need a fresh change, we need this. Now that potentially could be what happened. I think it more than likely is. I don't think John Fury is any benefit to Tyson. I know obviously John Fury doesn't train Tyson, he's not in the corner, but I think having him just in the camp, in the Team Fury, is nothing more than a hindrance. I think that he's too fiery, he's too in your face. And I really do think that John Fury, in some ways, I think John Fury may have contributed to the issues Tyson Fury's had. I really do. He's just such an outlandish, fiery character. Someone like a Hughie Fury might do well with a John Fury in their camp or in their corner because he's such a mellow, no fiery type of person. That someone like a Hughie Fury might do well. But someone like a Tyson, you need to rein him in. You don't need to get him too fiery, because when he gets fiery, he starts making mistakes, and then he gets, himself into trouble, he gets hurt. He does not want to be fiery against Deontay Wilder. All right, you need a calm, composed, relaxed Tyson Fury, because if Tyson Fury decides, let's get ballsy, let's get fiery, let's have some fun in here, he's going to get knocked out pretty sharply in this rematch. And the fact that this is happening, 2 months, prior to the rematch happening, if it does happen in February, this is really having me make, this is really swaying my prediction for this fight. If and when this happens. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking Tyson Fury originally when this, fight was being talked about, even as far back as last year in the rematch. But, changing things up like this, you don't know what way Fury's going to be mentally. It's making me lean more towards Wilder now, I have to say. So, those are my thoughts on this. In terms of John Fury in the Team Fury camp, look, at the end of the day, he's probably not going to get rid of his dad. But I do think that Tyson he doesn't need someone like a John Fury. He doesn't need that kind of fiery character in his corner or in his team. He needs just cool, level-headed people who are going to bring the best out of him. All right, and I just think John Fury brings the worst out of Tyson. All right, in and out of the ring. So those are my thoughts on this. Let me know what you think down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're new, of course. And as always, I will talk to you after.